And if you just join me, please hit the share button and appreciate it. Thank you. And please, would you mind? Thank you, Clark. If you don't mind, just indicate a little briefly where you're joining me. And thank you again. My name again is Daniel Funtong here in the great state of Texas, here in the United States. What we want to talk about is the burning issues that is happening in Cameroon. You all know what is happening in Cameroon. I know there is a lot of ongoing chaotic that is going on in Cameroon, and all of us have burning questions about what is going on. So please, if you just join me, thank you, Williams, thank you, Issa, thank you. If I pronounce your name wrong, please apologize, or I mistakenly bypass your name. I didn't intend to. Thank you, BB. Thank you, Ruth. Thank you, Issa. Thank you, Williams. Can you also hit the share button if you just join me live, and or repost again so that we all have gathered so that we can discuss about the issues. So what is going on is elections. It's an election that happened in Cameroon on October 12th, where you find a 92 years old man called Paul Biya win the eighth conservative election, eighth series of elections. So it means he was a president when it was Ronald Reagan. He was in 1982 when he became president in United States was Ronald Reagan. So he has been in power for 42, 43 years. That's just the time he been in power as a president. And he is currently 92, 93 years old. And he doesn't want to go on retirement. He basically able to speak. But we're going to talk about what is the problems. It's not just about his age, but it is the problems of other complicitors that I organize, prevent. Please, if you just join me here again, my name is Funton Daniel here in the great state of Texas. Thank you, Adenism. Thank you for joining in. If you just join in, my name again is Funton Daniel here in the great state of Texas. So please just hit the share button or repost, whatever. If you hear, wherever you are, please. Thank you for joining in. The issues that I want to discuss today is about the recent elections in Cameroon, where you have a 92 years old who was potentially the wrong person proclaimed as the president of Cameroon. So there is ongoing chaos in Cameroon as we speak. So citizens has taken on the street because a wrong person was proclaimed by the highest court system. And so we're going to talk about all these this evening. And so please just hit the share button. And thank you, Fatima. Thank
Hi,
you.
Smooth.
Hello.
Hi, Rush. I think I
How
said
are
that
you?
right. I hope I did.
Yes. So where are you joining me live, if you don't mind?
Mm.
I'm attached to a could you slow the sound in the background?
Can you guys share and tap the live for me, please?
I want to know about it. So what should you do, sir?
We're just finding out what the plans are, what your guys' week is going to be like.
Yes. The important thing is that I want to talk about what is going on in Cameroon. So the problem is a wrong person was proclaimed.
How do I get him out?
Online?
Yeah, how do I?
Can you reduce the sound in the background? That would be great. Yes, thank you, Mel Prince. If you just joined me live, please could you hit the share button? And you can also support me with a gift, diamonds, stars, whatever, and also follow and like, share. That will be helpful to support me so that I keep on this program. So I really appreciate all of you that are tuned in this evening. And here again, my name is Funton Daniel in the great state of Texas on the issues that is going on in Cameroon with a lot of burning questions that many of you might be asking. So now let me talk let me talk about what is going on and what happened. So I know many of you, why did, some of you have a burning question, so why did Issa Tchiroma proclaim himself and not waiting for the Constitutional Council, to proclaim the result? Yes, that's the burning question people are asking. The law did allow to release result. So how did he get the result? Even here in the United States, each polling station, when during the voting here in the United States, each polling station at early as 9 o'clock, so the early vote starts at 7 a.m. At 9 o'clock, the chief judge or the chief voting at each voting station, at 9 o'clock, they release a partial result on a small note outside the voting so that allowed media to be able to watch. Then at 12 o'clock, they release the second vote. And they release the second vote so that media can be able to watch and see what an exact number of people have voted. Then at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, then the last third result are released so that this keeps the media aware of what is voting, what is the amount of vote, what is the result, and what is the update. And that is what happened here in the United States. But what happened in Cameroon is that various party representatives at the polling station, when the vote is counted, so the result at the voting station are signed by the various party representatives. So the party representative forward the result to the central office of the party headquarters in Cameroon. So the central party transmit the information, the result, to the president, so that the president or his collaborators. And that is why, and what happened is that those results are both signed between the party officials. So let's say the CPDM party, the Issa Tchiroma party, they sign. So that information is transmitted to the central party with the signature of the various representatives. And Issa Tchiroma, when he get the result, he release it. And so that is why at the end of the past 24 hours, he was able to tabulate the total result which projected him as the winner. So it's based on the result that is coming from the various polling stations. That is what he has released. So, whereas the CPDM, which is led by Paul Biya, they have a prefabricated result. And with the assumption that since the Constitutional Council will have to proclaim the result, those fabricated results will be what will be presented to the Constitutional Council. That prefabricated result will already tabulated, and the result that the Constitutional Council will read those results. And so that is why the result that is coming from Issa Tchiroma are the authentic result because they are coming straight from the voting station where each party officials has signed it. Whereas those that presented by the Constitutional Council were a prefabricated result that were made private without election. So how can you differentiate between the two? Well, if you ask the result from Issa Tchiroma, it will show the signature of the both party representatives that were physically present at the voting station. But when you ask those results that were prefabricated by the CPDM, they do not contain the signature of the various party. And that is why they will not allow anyone to identify or even visualize those documents, because they are, the Constitutional Council are being sealed not to allow. They will tell you, oh, the rules and regulations, the law does not allow. They will not share because it's not an authentic result. Now you can understand what is the dilemma of the result of the election proclaiming Paul Biya. So the result proclaimed by Issa Tchiroma are the authentic result because it comes from the polling station where both parties actually sign. Where both parties actually signed the result. So that is the great distinction between those results. So that is why I am making this concrete and giving the concrete result what is different and what is not. So that is why you see that the result that is being presented by the government version they call the Constitutional Council. So what is so adamant and frustrating about the Constitutional Council is that the Constitutional Council is made up of 2 members from the president family. Now you can understand that the 2 members are from the President Paul Biya's family. 2 of the Supreme Council that proclaim are from his direct family. So now, let me flash back. Why? So, in all along, the government has been making every effort to bribe the members. So, Issa Tchiroma party representative, they are very genuine, honest people. So the government was not able to get those leaders of Issa Tchiroma's political party, because the attempt to get them was to bribe them so that they can accept the result, the government version of the result, which is a pre-made or prefabricated result. I hope you guys are getting it clearly. So the result of the government was a prefabricated result, and that is the result in which the government of Paul Biya wanted those officials or party officials of Issa Tchiroma to sign, and so that they give them a certain amount of or large sum of money so that they will accept the result. So by accepting the result, then it gives them lavish to confirm that Paul Biya is the actual winner. So when these party officials refuse, that they cannot, because Issa Tchiroma has made it clear, the only person that can speak on behalf of the party is the person appointed by the party officials. But the government cannot get in direct contact with some of the small leaders or regional decisions. The government cannot. They must pass through the high-level executive officials of the party. And so that is the key point that prevents. So the government gets frustrated and began arresting those officials that have refused to collaborate with the government. That is why you find that all members of the key delegate of Issa Tchiroma's party have been arrested by Paul Biya's government. I hope I'm making sense. I hope I'm bringing clear picture for you to understand what is happening. So that is exactly the dilemma that is going on in Cameroon. That's the dilemma, where results of a prefabricated are being read by the Constitutional Council. Imagine a Constitutional Council which purpose is justice and are engaging in fraudulent result without fully knowingly that the result they are reading are prefabricated and choose to read it anyway, that is a crime by itself. Okay, imagine the Constitutional Council that is reading a result that is a fabricated result, and they have swear an oath of allegiance that they are going to follow the law. And the same Constitutional Council is reading inaccurate result to proclaim the wrongful president. Imagine that council, and that is why the fraud is the highest level in Cameroon, because the justice system is a shabby system. It's not a system that stood for the law. If you have ever been here in the United States and you happen to be in one of the justice system, you will admire the difference, the significant difference between the United States justice system. I'm sure it's the same thing in UK and the same thing in Europe in general. But you will admire the justice system. I remember when I had a speeding ticket, I chose to attend the case at this because I felt that maybe there was some bias by the police, and I said, let me go and attend one of the justice system in the United States. And I appeared there. I mean, I was so appreciative. I was so appreciative the way they render the services, the way the judge conduct his activities, and I felt so appreciative. First is the law. He quoted the law, and that is what the law focused on. But in the case of Cameroon, which I am speaking about, when a Constitutional Council decided to read a result that is prefabricated, then you can understand the shabby system of the justice system in Cameroon. You know, I know many people needed a change. Please, and one moment, and I really appreciate all of you for joining me live in this deliberation of the post-election in Cameroon. Please, if you can hit the share button and hit the like button, whatever you can do to keep this afloat, that I really appreciate all of you. You guys are so amazing, and I thank you for your support. Without you guys, I won't sit here to be talking. You guys are very amazing people, wherever you are. Also make some note, indicate where you join me live. I really go through all those messages to see who, where, and where you are joining me live, because that gave me a joy. It gave me an impact. It gave me a sense of love. And I really appreciate all of you that are joining me this evening by foregoing your own personal business activities just to listen to me. It's an amazing. Oh, thank you so much from Canada. That's amazing. So, and if you have an opportunity, hit the gift, diamond, stars, whatever you have that you can afford, just do it. And I really appreciate all of you. You guys are amazing people. You guys are so wonderful. Just for going your activity just to listen to me is so dear to my heart. So you guys are so wonderful. So again, but let's not go about this, but I also want to talk. About issues that, because it affects some of you are physically in ground zero or in Cameroon, and many of you are outside, and You all have an opportunity and carry on investment in Cameroon. Many of you like to go back. Many of you like to carry investment. And that is why a new captain. So Cameroon is now without a captain. Cameroon, as we speak, doesn't have a captain. Imagine in a vessel in the midst of an ocean without a coherent captain. Could you imagine what will happen? Imagine if any of you have ever traveled by sea or even go on an occasion or on a boat or whatever, you realize that in the midst of the ocean, there's absolutely there is no light. You just depend on the navigation system. Because there's no water, there's no land, there's no ending. You just see water and the sky. That's what you see. So imagine you have a captain. A captain is usually the commander of the ship. So if the commander of the ship is not coherent, then imagine the person will be taking you maybe to South Africa, maybe to China, maybe to South Korea, or to the Pacific Ocean, because the person is incoherent. So that's the case that is happening in Cameroon. There is no captain there's no president. There's president who is not coherent. So now, let me go look at the mental state of the president of Cameroon. Let me look at the mental state of the president of Cameroon so that you can understand the frustration of many Cameroonians, why they need a change. There is great frustration of many Cameroonians because they need a change. Why do they need a change? Because the scenario that I just portrayed, a ship without a captain, that is exactly what is going on in Cameroon. That is exactly what is going on in Cameroon. So, the first instances, Paul Biya was invited by President Joe Biden here in the United States. A president of a country, he was invited here in the United States. He arrived in the United States and was not aware that he was physically in the United States. And in the course of time, when people demonstrating because of his bad governance, and when he saw the demonstration, he asked, who are those? And they told him, are people demonstrating outside the hotel he was lodging. And he became upset that he was in the United States without knowing. Imagine you are a president of a country and you've been bundled and put in a plane, and now you are in the United States and you're not even aware. Then could you imagine that to rule a country? That is the frustration that is going on in Cameroon. A ship without a captain. A ship without a captain. So that is the frustration that is going on in Cameroon. So now, so the problems for my own an in-depth analysis, looking at the issues, is that the wife of the Paul Biya, which is called Chantal Biya, and Ferdinand Ngongo are the two actors. They are fraudulently signing signature, pretending to be the president of Paul Biya, signing those signatures. And that is a bad for the country. Why will you fraud a signature pretending to be Paul Biya? And that is bad for the country. If the person is incapable, and that's why I like Europe, United States, and all this. When the person realizes that he can no longer discharge his duty, he step aside. You remember that Biden, his mental state was better than Paul Biya, but the party asked him not to run because they felt that it was abnormal, because he was having some kind of dementia or forgetfulness, but it was not as worse as the state of Paul Biya. But the party officials advised him not to. But in the case of Cameroon, they have deliberately refused and forced him to do a thing that he is incapable. And this has led to a wide range of frustration among people in Cameroon. Just imagine the destruction that is ongoing. The destruction that is ongoing is because the system has failed. The system has failed to do things right for the common good of Cameroon. And this has been a greater impact. So who is Paul Biya? How is his mental state? So if Paul Biya, for many, some of them argue that Paul Biya is still articulating. For the entire process during this election, he has not in any single word expressed himself. He has not. So now I will contrast it. Might be someone will argue that because I am supporter of Issa Tchiroma, that is why I'm giving bad remark about Paul Biya because I am biased. Of course, there may be some degree of bias, but I'm giving you factual differences between the two of them. Now let's look at a lady, a school teacher. A school teacher was shot during the process of election. A school teacher was shot in the northern part of the town called Marwa Ogarwa. This school teacher was shot death, but he was able to articulate. Issa Tchiroma articulate that because he was shot by the military. He said, no, that is not the duty of the military by going around rampage killing innocent citizens. Because he is mentally stable. Issa Tchiroma is mentally stable and he's aware of reality and he is able to process information accurately that something of such nature happened, that the military was killed. And that is the reason he announced it. Paul Biya was not aware that somebody was killed. Paul Biya did not even make a statement. Even the entire election process, Paul Biya has not. Issa Tchiroma has granted audience with media. Issa Tchiroma has granted audience with media. He has spoken with other foreign journalists about the state of the country and what he intends to do. Paul Biya has not in any of it granted a media audience to articulate. Why? Because they are continuously shield him from outside social media scrutiny. He's been completely shielded from outside media scrutiny. That is why. Because they do not allow him to even open his mouth with the audience. The wife, Ishanta Biya, is very closely monitored. The only person that has granted audience is the U.S. ambassador. And you know I'm very critical of the U.S. ambassador. You know, don't get me wrong. United States is an amazing nation. But the only problem is that is the worst ambassador United States has ever had in Cameroon. You know, I love the United States. Is the best nation on the planet. They are very just. But the problem is the current ambassador, U.S. ambassador to Cameroon, is the worst ambassador United States has ever had in Cameroon in the entire decade. I am very honest. I'm very frank about it. So I just tell you exactly how I felt. That's the worst ambassador United States has ever had in Cameroon. Because he doesn't want to speak the truth. He doesn't. I've never seen a United States ambassador not standing up for obligation, speak the truth. They say veracity. Veracity. But anyway, but that's not the key point. Now, the only another person that he has granted audience is French ambassador. And you know, they just shield him. What about outside media? He has not even have access for any foreign media. He has not granted any access to media. Because why? The state of his mental health is depleting. The state of Paul Biya's mental health is depleting. It's the worst it has ever been. So why is he having depleted? Let me tell you, first of all, he has a kidney problems. So he has a kidney problems. He has a prostate problem. So of course, we don't know the state since everything is being shielded, and he goes to Switzerland for medical treatment. So the kidney is not functioning properly. So he may be having shielding toxic, and so it obviously affects his mental state. Of course, he could not ever articulate a message effectively, and because of that, they are being shielded. So there is this group. There is this group of people. There is this group of people that is shield him from outside scrutiny, especially media. So what is now? What is now? So what is the next thing moving forward? Now that the Constitutional Council has proclaimed the wrong person at this time, there's nothing they can do about it. But what they can do is that let Paul Biya write a resignation letters. Paul Biya can write a resignation letters and hand over the power to Issa Tchiroma, because first, he was never elected. He was the former president. Amadou Ahidjo was there for 25 years and resigned. Why did he resign? Because France, the architect or manipulator, told him, Ahidjo, that he has a health issues that require medical attention, and so therefore he needs to hand over to Paul Biya in 1982, and that is what the France forced him to do, and he handed over to Paul Biya because they look at Paul Biya as a valid, legitimate person. And so France has been the key architect of manipulating, especially the 14 African nations. It's not just Cameroon, it's the rest of 14 African nations. And so there have not been any effective government in those areas. And so that is the key problem. So France is not honest. Now let's look at the result, the proclamation of result. Nobody has recognized their victory. Nobody has recognized Paul Biya's victory. Nobody has recognized Paul Biya's victory. And guess which recognized their victory? The OAU. OAU is the only organization that has sent a congratulation messages to Paul Biya. And guess what is the OAU? It's a tool that is intended for French only. And that's why you see there's so many revolutions. Most Africans, they speak against OAU because it does not represent the fundamental value of Africans as a whole. Thank you. Again, so if you just join me live here, I really appreciate you. Please hit the share button, and if you have opportunity, could you give me some diamonds, some gifts, some stars, and that is very inspiring. Oh, thank you so much. Someone just give me oh, that's so amazing. You guys are so amazing. I really appreciate you. You know, somebody just give me a star, somebody give me a diamond, somebody give me a gift. And also hit the share button, hit the follow button. I really appreciate all of you. You guys are amazing people. Just to take off your time and join me for this live broadcast. It is so amazing, so dear to my heart. I really appreciate all of you. And so remember to hit the follow button, hit the share, so that each time when I come to live, you will be easier to follow me. And also hit the diamond, the gift, the stars, whatever you can afford, that it would be amazing. That will go a long way to support me. I really appreciate all of you. And also remember to follow, and that also counts a lot. And click the like button, share. That is a wonderful. So I really appreciate all of you, and I really appreciate all of you taking your time just to listen to me. That is amazing to me. You guys are so wonderful. God bless all of you. So again, let's look at, I was talking about what happened, who gave a congratulatory message to Paul Biya after post-election. The only people that sent a post-election congratulation is the OAU. OAU is an organization. Oh, somebody might ask, what is OAU? It's an organization for African unity. It's just like the European Union. It's just like the European Union that it works in collaboration with various European countries. So it's like a union that works for the interests of the European Union. So OAU is almost similar like such an organization. But unfortunately, the organization is highly controlled by France. The executive Secretary General is a francophone that is controlled by France. You remember, there's one powerful lady. She's a medical doctor, and she was a United Nations OAU representative to United Nations. France forced this Secretary General, OAU Secretary General, to ask her to resign, and she was forced out. And she's now becoming so powerful. But of course, that is not what I'm telling you. That's not the purpose of this broadcast today. The purpose is about Cameroon. That is the main topic of focus, and which is having the wrong captain on the ship, which is Paul Biya. The rightful candidate that's supposed to have won the election were deprived of the result and then proclaimed the wrong person to captain the ship. And then I was going ahead talking about the mental state of Paul Biya, which is in the worst state. And so they are preventing him to speak. How can you have a president, a candidate that is running for a president, has not even spoken a word for the entire campaign? He has not even met his media. He has never granted audience to media. And now he has been proclaimed by the Constitutional Council to lead a country. He is currently 92 years old. He's leading the country to the grave, or where is he leading the country to? That is the big frustration for many Cameroonians. At 92 years old, he's leading the country to his graveyard when he doesn't. To be honest with you, to be frank with you, I'm not exaggerating. I am very honest. I'm not exaggerating. I am not exaggerating. Paul Biya does not recognize his office that he's been going for a number of years, for the past 43 years. He does not remember the wife's name. He does not remember the office he's been going. He cannot remember the daughter's name. He cannot remember the son's name. He does not. I am not exaggerating. I am giving you facts. So he doesn't remember. So he's simply like a wandering person just living. And that is why I earlier said Ferdinand Gongo is the key architect that is manufacturing his signature. So when you see those numbers, those signatures being posted on Facebook, is Ferdinand Gongo manufacturing signatures and posted on Facebook, potentially saying that he is the one signing this thing. He doesn't have the mental capacity to sign his signature, because if you cannot remember your own children, then you are in the worst state of dementia. If you can't remember your own children, because that's the last thing your memory should be able to recall, and he cannot remember his own children, then that is the worst state of his mental state. Now you can understand where I am coming from. So it's really bad. It's really bad. It's really bad. It's really terrifying. Et je vous remercie que la situation au Cameroun, c'est très actuellement grave. La situation est tellement grave. C'est pas que je mente. C'est pas que je mente. C'est la chose que vraiment que tout le monde, si vous êtes un Camerounais, c'est une chose que vous devez voir ça. C'est pas que je parle parce que je suis un anglophone. Non, ça c'est vraiment la chose qui est très grave pour le pays Cameroun. If nous voulons un changement, nous voulons un nouveau président, nous voulons un capitaine de l'équipe un capitaine de l'équipe. Parce que quand vous quand vous êtes what do you call it that in English? Where are my French guys that speak the English? When you have a vessel, I think I gave that scenario earlier, where you have a vessel where the captain doesn't remember, doesn't have memory, then where would the vessel, the ship, goes to? The ship will probably just be wandering around until a good captain takes over. And so the captain was Issa Tchiroma. Issa Tchiroma was the captain that the people have just chosen to be able to lead the vessel. That is Cameroon. But unfortunately, he was deprived of that privilege. And now you have chaos. And yet, they haven't seen what is going on in Cameroon. They simply ignore it as though nothing is going wrong. So it's very sad, it's very sad. It's very sad. Imagine what is going on in Cameroon. It's chaotic. It's devastating. Because the Constitutional Council decided deliberately, without reflection, without thinking, what will be the outcome if we proclaim the wrong candidate. It doesn't matter to them. It doesn't matter to them. That's the people that fail to understand the importance of a nation, that employing a wrongful captain to captain a vessel will lead to the wrong destination, because he cannot even use the compass. Because in the navigation, you have to have a compass. A compass is a navigation system that allows you to be able to navigate to the right destination. That this is going south, this is east, angle 20 degree south, angle 20 degree this. That is how they use to navigate, because in the sea, there is no land. You don't see land. You only see water. And so now, Cameroon is in a state of without a captain in a vessel. So it is in a war state. So all of Cameroonians, they have a duty to do something about it. They have a duty to do something about it. And I also want to caution for some of you who have relatives that are in the military in Cameroon. Please call them, tell them that the change is not for the benefit only for the military. It's for every Cameroonian. Imagine you have a leader that doesn't understand process information. Imagine you have a captain, or you have a military commander, you have a general in the military who is not coherent. And if there is a war, what will drive the war? Who will drive the army? Who will give a coherent assignment? That is the dilemma Cameroon is facing, because they have a president that is not coherent. That is not coherent. How can somebody that is not coherent will lead the country? It's inadvisable. It is not applicable that a person that is incoherent to be able to lead. Let him retire with dignity. Let Paul Biya retire with dignity. Those who force him to take such an opportunity should tell him to step aside and let the rightful person that won the election to become the president of Cameroon. I hope that makes sense. And for fellow friends and so you joining me for this broadcast, if you can put a little bit of note, that helps me to understand where you join me, where you are. It gives me impression who was watching, and that because after this broadcast I will be able to go around, see who, and just those brief notes, it helped me, it inspired me. So, and if you have opportunity, give me some diamonds, some gift, some stars, whatever you can afford is very appreciative. It's helpful. It helped me more. It's inspired me more. And so I bring out all these, what is going on in Cameroon, for all of us to brainstorm and see what can be done to help Cameroon. So Cameroon is a country that since 1960, they have never democratically elect a president and transfer peacefully. So, but the next broadcast that I'm going to be bringing, I'm going to bring a historical background. I know I spoke to one a French-speaking guy. Oh, he said, "Oh my God, I didn't know this information was never taught in school." So I'm going to bring historical background of Cameroon in my next broadcast. Historical. If you're a francophone and you want to listen about historical background about Cameroon, it's not just Cameroon, it's about the English speaking too, so that you have an idea why is English came into the picture between Cameroon and Cameroon. So I am going to bring that historical background in my next broadcast, and so please pay attention when my next broadcast, because that will be the key issues that I'm going to bring for you to understand the origin of Cameroon and English-speaking Cameroon. How did it came about? What happened? So that will be the next broadcast for the next time. So please pay attention for my next broadcast. You're going to learn historical background, because sometimes people don't tell the fact, and then people just say, "Oh, like Cameroon is just a Cameroon." So it didn't say, "Oh, there's an English speaking." Say, English speaking in Cameroon. How? So, but there is a background knowledge that has been hidden or never taught in school. And that's why people get frustrated, because they are not aware of these key issues. It's never taught in school in Cameroon. It's been censored. It's been censored. But anyway, that will be the next broadcast. And again, I want to take a moment to thank all of you that have joined in for this broadcast. Wherever you are, just put some note where you join me live. It will be amazing, and it will be very helpful for me. I want to thank all of you for tuning this evening for this broadcast. So don't remember to give some diamonds, some stars. Those are very helpful, and follow, and that impact me, and I really appreciate all of you. I wish you all a good evening. Again, my name is Funtan Daniel, here in the great state of Texas, here in the United States. Bye.